with this story. We lost signal a little bit earlier on, but I think we've managed to get the signal back. MTV Shuga Down South is back with another 10-part offering. The third season of the multi-award-winning series premieres in June. It tackles an array of topics including HIV, AIDS, sexually transmitted infections, TB. Now we've got 16-year-old Chidera Nwoha, who we were speaking to before we lost a signal, who plays Khenzo in this series. And of course, this individual plays a social recluse with a flair for fashion and is well loved by his teachers, but is battling an addiction with lean. In fact, Chidera, a little bit earlier on, before we lost signal with you, we were talking about your character, having to play this individual who's addicted to lean. And then, as I was saying, lean is actually known as dirty Sprite, or the mixture with codeine or cough syrup mixed with some kind of a fizzy drink and the like. Just talk to us a little bit about your character and just talk a little bit about this addiction to lean.
So my character, Zelani Khenzo Koza, he's a very cool kid, and he basically starts to show signs of addiction to substance abuse after he loses his best friend, right? And he battles throughout the whole season, and he fights, and he just really tries to stay on track, but it's just really hard for him. And his best friend, Waruna, played by the absolutely gorgeous Ziak Ulu, she has a very big impact on the decisions he makes, and the type of person he wants to become. But unfortunately, he feels like he's not able to become because of all of these issues that he's facing. And playing this character, like he's such a heavy character. But it's just really beautiful to be someone to carry out his story, because he's beautiful, and I think the story is so important for especially the youth to hear, and they can learn so much from it as to what decisions and choices you should make, and how substance abuse does have a negative impact.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love him so much, and I'm grateful to be playing him.
That is absolutely beautiful to hear. Listen, I just wonder, do adults and the adult world, so as it were, the adult community, do you think we provide enough spaces for young people to start talking about issues such as addiction, issues such as, HIV, AIDS, and the prevalence thereof amongst young people? Or are we still, in your view, choosing to be very conservative in our approach and almost wanting to sweep everything under the rug, as it were? I mean, do we give you guys space as young people to be open about some of the experiences that you're going through?
No. And I say this because, but also I think we're growing into that. But as adults and as parents, I think it's also very hard to open these conversations with your children because it's a scary topic. But I think what adults and parents need to understand that by opening this up, first of all, we grow faster, and we start to understand before opportunities to do bad things appear, and opportunities to just go the wrong way appear. And by the time we get there, then we know that, oh, this is wrong because my parents have taught me and my parents have spoken about it. But also it has become a very open topic in schools, in life orientation. I know it definitely is in the textbook. I'm kind of learning it now. It's just very important to open those conversations with your children because it just makes them understand, and it makes them grow faster, and just to understand, unfortunately, the world that we live in. So yeah.
And it feels as though a lot of bridging the gaps, programs need to actually start happening so that parents don't feel as though they're overwhelmed by this new information, and young people don't feel as though they're navigating life alone. So if you were to advise parents who are listening to this and maybe they are facing some of the issues that for example, your character Khenzo is now portraying, how would you advise an adult, as a young person? You don't have to be an adult speaking to an adult, you can literally be a young person speaking to an adult. How would you advise an adult to start talking about it? Because just because we don't talk about it does not mean that it doesn't exist, does it? How would you speak to adults who are battling with this?
So I think the advice that I would give adults is, I think, to be patient too. I know it kind of contrasts to what I said, but we can't be patient for too long, but be patient in opening the conversation. I don't think it's very good to bombard the child's head with all of this information, but I think it's better to start it off slowly. And I think the way in which parents speak to their children has a very big impact on the way they act outside of home. And I think they could always just be more cautious, right? And I also think that opening these conversations are good. Opening these conversations are very good. And take it from a 16-year-old. I have a very beautiful mother, and happy Mother's Day to her, because it's Mother's Day. That's taught me a lot. So yeah.
And thank you so much. Chidera, all the best when it comes to playing your character. I know that many young people will be absolutely looking forward to being able to indulge in, of course, MTV's Shuga Season 3. It is finally out, and of course you get to check it out as well. And just familiarize yourself with some of the experiences that young people are facing. And